Hey everybody. How's it going today? Need coffee. Need some coffee. My microphone's up here. Oh. Good morning, everyone. Anyways, today I am going to be messing around with the Query Loop block, but I wanted to do. I need to get my Twitch repo back up and running. It's been a long time. I don't think I've committed to doing some hacking today. That's right, Kev, doing some hacking. Some nasty hacks. I don't know. It's all clickbait. We're just going to sit here and we're going to talk about how ridiculous.
Oh, great. It's Kev XB.
There he is. First thing I wanted to do is I wanted to get my Twitch repository sort of back up and running. I haven't really used it. I've been sort of doing a bunch of different things. So I'm going to walk us through. I've set up a Twitch stream repository. In Studio, I have a site set up, and so I'm going to kind of show you how you can work with Studio and a repository that uses the WP content folder as its root, which is how I have Twitch stream set up. It's a little bit. There's a couple of steps you have to do to it. Sorry, I had my noise canceling headphones on there. I felt like I was yelling. I was yelling at everyone. Anyways, okay, cool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just gonna grab my little clone action here. So this is the stream. So in Studio, when you create it, you can open it in VS Code. It'll open it as the root of the WordPress install. So what I'm going to do here, actually, you know what's really cool is you can actually just open up iTerm as well, right from this. So I can just do git clone. I'm going to clone my Twitch repository in there. So you see I have a little Twitch folder showing up in here. And then the thing we have to do is we have to move a bunch of this stuff. I'm going to zoom this in so you can see it a bit. We have to move some stuff out of this into this. So Twitch is going to end up being the WP content directory. But because this is already there, there's some things that we have to move. We don't need that. That needs to stop. And but we do need this. So I'm going to just move that into Twitch. And so the Studio uses WordPress Studio uses a SQLite for its database. So there's a couple of things we have to move. We had to move that drop-in file, which handles the using of that database. We want to move the MU plugins in there. We want to move the database in there. All those, and this stuff should just be pretty basic stuff like that. I'm going to probably move the themes. These things. You know what? I'll just do this later. So we have this. I'm going to rename this WP content old. I'm going to rename this one WP content. And so let's see. This is going to bug me the whole stream. So now, if we need to add that plugin menu, which plugin? Oh, the drop-in? Is that what you mean? So let's see. Can we go here? There we go. So now we should have, okay, so I've got my streams. If we go into plugins, we should have all the plugins that we've created. The SQLite. Yes, so WordPress supports this drop-in system. Drop-in plugins. And what they do, what's a good example of that? So they go inside of the WP content directory, and they allow you to do things like advanced caching and use a different database. So the SQLite, the db.php is the file that we dropped into here. And this file basically says we're not going to use MySQL, we're going to use SQLite. And so this does all of the things that it needs to do to make that happen. In addition, there are some SQLite database stuff that Studio just provides. So that's why I needed to move that into inside of my repository. No, Studio does support it. Studio supports SQLite. So if you were to come over here and create a brand new site, my glowing website. That's what we're going to call it. I'm just going to spin this up real quick so I can show you how it's already done. WordPress by default supports other database types. You have to tell it how to work with it. It's the same as when you do like object caching. So it doesn't cover everything. I don't understand what you mean. So if I were to just open up VS Code with this basic install, you can see in WP content, it provides the SQLite database. That's the actual database. It provides the MU plugins that handle all of the connecting, and then it has this DB, which I believe what this DB drop-in is doing is, why won't that go away? Hold on. Why are we adding the drop-in? Because the drop-in tells, because it tells us tells WordPress where to find the database, basically, right? So it's looking in, requires the implementation from the plugin, so it's basically telling it where to get everything that it needs to be able to connect to the SQL database. If you don't do that, it'll look for, I think it'll look for MySQL connection, but we can test that. I'm just gonna do that. So now if I come over to this new site that I created, I open it, so it's giving me but you said Studio already supports it. Studio is WordPress, right? So, I didn't manually add the drop-in. The drop-in was added by Studio. So when you create a new Studio site, Studio adds everything that it needs to, right? Yes, sorry, Kevin. Yes, yeah. So Studio generates everything that you need to use SQLite, because under the hood, Studio is using basically Playground, right? So it's using SQLite. But WordPress itself allows you to do that. Studio is just leveraging that stuff. Yes, I did copy it over, Kev, because if you were paying attention, you'd know that I cloned my Twitch repository into this WordPress install, which happens to also be a WP content. Like the root of that repository is supposed to be the WP content. So I already had one over here that I had to move all that stuff into. So that's why I did that. Pay attention. No, I'm joking. Excellent questions, Cabaroo, which is your new nickname.
Kevin!
Okay, I'm going to delete my glowing website because I don't need it anymore. We're just going to delete that. And sweet. Yeah, a lot of times, I shouldn't say a lot of times, in my experience, when you're especially in agency land, it tends to, you tend to set the root of your project repository to be WP content, because there's going to be plugins, there's going to be themes, other things, MU plugins potentially. So that means that you have to account for the sort of the internal stuff. Like, you'll notice here I'm ignoring my uploads directory, right? Like I'm not doing that. I'm ignoring debug log. So it does make things a little bit more complicated, but that's how a lot of people do it, including myself. That's how I like to do it anyways. You know what I'm saying? All right, so let's see. So maybe content. Do I have a composer in there? I think I do. I think that's why it's yelling.
Oh, you made a wise choice, my friend.
Hey, Arisberg, thanks for the follow. Appreciate you. So I'm just gonna get this set up a little bit, and then we're going to try to hack. What is this junk? What's in there? Okay. So PHP, yeah, there we go. Okay. Cool. All right. Get this out of the way. No, I'm gonna unzoom that. Zoom out. Unzoom is not a thing. What is this stuff? Oh, I have to ignore all this. So let me just make that change. So that's it. The other thing is, like, you have to make sure that you're ignoring the things that you need to ignore. Database stuff. So this should. There we go. So that should get ignored. There we go. Okay. So ignore database stuff. Okay, okay. I'm going to commit this. I'm going to sync these changes, and then we'll get rid of this. Get rid of this. This should still be running. It is running. Sweet. Okay, cool. So I don't have any content in here, which is a real unfortunate thing. Does that make sense what I'm doing, Kev? Okay, yeah. Does that make sense? What I'm talking about? Or, oh, better check.
I am madly in love with you.
Bill is with us. I'm madly in love with you, Bill. Okay. So what I actually wanted to do today, yeah, of course it does. Kevin's like the smartest guy I know. I do something there. Yeah. See, I'm doing it right. If Kevin's doing it, I must be doing it right. All right. So what I want to do today is I wanted to mess around with the query loop block because a friend of mine, Marco. I'm a little late. You set this up as a WordPress Studio site. I did set it up as a WordPress Studio site. Erisberg, thanks for the follow and the first time chat. Yeah, I set it up all through WordPress Studio. Right, Hal? So it should be running as this. This is my, oh God, this must be the crap theme that I had forever ago. It's a really bad theme. Okay, so I don't think, okay, I don't have any more themes in here. I have to add a few, I think. We're going to add, where's the latest one? That looks good. Yeah, you shut up. It does look horrid. 2025. I'm just going to install 2025. We'll make it our the directory already exists and could not be removed. Interesting. That's interesting because I don't think there is anything. There is nothing in there. So I think I know why this is doing this. I've noticed sometimes with WordPress Studio that if you are messing with the file system while it's running, sometimes I think references get caught, get like snagged. So I'm going to stop it, start it again, and then try to do what I was doing there. Let's see. Refresh this. Oh yeah, of course. Of course. So WP admin, appearance themes, add name, install. Installation failed. Well, that is weird. Okay. Okay, that's unfortunate. So what I'm going to do here, I think I'm going to just move some of these things, take the 2025 theme and put it into the themes directory here. Let's see if that does what I want it to do. There it is. Activate. I wonder if I have to like re-provision it. I don't know. I have to bring that up with the team because that seems strange to me. But anyhow. Okay. In the meantime, I can delete this WP content old, and I will get rid of that. All right. So we're back. We're back. We're back, and we're in the admin, and we've got everything that we need. This looks at the front of the site. Site looks like a WordPress site. Beauty. Beauty. Okay. So what I wanted to do here is get rid of that. Is sorry, Marco, my friend Marco, who was my gracious host when I was in Lisbon twice this year, was talking about not being able to use the query loop block with custom blocks. And because there's a couple of things that he wanted to do. He wanted to be able to conditionally display content based on the post type, which I think is really interesting. And also be able to just have a custom block work inside of let me show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so let's go post. Let's go all post. We're gonna add a post. This is what we call this query loop hacks. No, hacks. There we go. So if you put a query loop block in here, query loop. I'm just going to do this. Start title. There we go. Okay, we're going to save this. We're going to publish this. Now, if I were to go into my any number of my plugins. I don't even know if any of these are actually working. Let's try. Let's see. I don't know. Let's see what this bring me your issues. Some files are missing or inactive. I don't know what I'm doing here. All right, so that's activated. But let's just go in here. Plugins. Let's bring me your issues. Probably need to npm install that. So npm I and npm run start. See what that does. WordPress VIP. Yeah. Yeah, it's a different thing. So WordPress Studio is the like the local development tool. Here, I'll throw you a link. I highly recommend going and checking it out if you haven't tried it yet. It's pretty cool, right here. Oops. Oh, come on, right? I'll just drop it in the chat there. You can go check it out at your own leisure. All right. So what we got? We got. Bring me your issues. What we got? Post picker. That's not a word. Edit post block. All right, let's put that one. That actually might be a really good one to use. Okay, so let's. Where am I? All right. So in here, in the query loop, if you want, okay, so if I wanted to use enhanced pagination, I'm gonna set that to custom. I'm gonna set this to post. We're gonna do 10 posts. Down here, I get my big stupid face out of the way. That may not actually be a problem. Zoom in a little bit. So if you scroll down to the bottom here, this is advanced option. You can reload full page. So what this does is when this is on, you'll do a regular page refresh when you click the next previous button. When this is off, it will use the Interactivity API to just refresh that part, so your page will not reload. Now, in order to demo this, I think I'm going to need two. WP, do I have it in my buffer here? Let's see. There we go. I'm going to generate 50 posts using WP CLI. That command's super handy. So now if I would refresh this, I should get a bunch of extra posts in here. There we go. So a whole bunch of really easily named posts, right? So if I come over here now, remember I've turned on the navigation. If we look at the URL, which you probably can't see very well, but if I click this, it's not actually refreshing the page. It's using sort of like the single page application thing and all of that, right? And so I'm gonna move this around so it's a little easier to read. So I'm gonna put the pagination above the post template so I don't have to scroll down all the time. Right? So up here I can just go doop doop doop, not reloading. So that's super cool. However, if we were to go into the post template and try to add a block like this. Query block, reload full page enabled. Because my block is not set up to support that, you can't do it this way. So if you were to hit this and come back into query loop and scroll down here into advanced, you'd see that it's actually turned back on and it's disabled. So you can't do anything with it. Right? So if I save this and I come back in here, I'm just gonna hit the home page. Oh wait, oops. I think I need to actually set the permalinks on this because it's going to drive me nuts otherwise. It's going to drive me nuts. We're going to do that. Save changes. Permalinks. Go in here. Get rid of this. Get rid of that. We're going to see this page. So you can see this is called the Query Loop apps. So when I click this now, is it actually working? No, it's reloading the whole page. You can see the whole page is being reloaded. So that's kind of a bummer. Because if you had multiple, like if we did something like, I don't know, if we added a group block, say, right, we'll do like something like this. Will this go on YouTube? It will be on YouTube. It's on YouTube right now, but it will definitely get on YouTube there, Kabaru. So if I put this one in in this row, right, and then I put another one in beside it, I want to add another query loop, right? And this isn't like stuff that's really, I'm not doing anything super magical here. Get in the row. So now I've got, which one is this? Okay, right? So if I were to save this and I come back over here, you can see we've got 2 loops, right? Oops, I'm gonna fix this loop custom. So this one will be, what makes this one show 5, and I'll put a Elpis original. How you doing? Right. So there's a lot of setup here, but basically this is one query loop and this is another query loop. And what the problem when we're not using
original.
there he is. The problem when we're not using this is that if I were to click this, the whole page refreshes, and so we'd lose the content that we're looking at. So if you wanted to, this might not be the best example, but I'm gonna just put this down to 5 as well. I'm gonna have this set up 5, save, and then like if we above this row, if we put in like I don't know, adding article name and then put a bunch of content in, copy, boop, and then moved it all, move the row like whatever down here, save. Again, this is saving very slowly. Okay, there we go. It was very slow. Right, so now if you were to hit this next page, it's gonna mess with all of this and it all reloads. We don't want that. Man, this looks horrible. Let me see if I can make this a little bit better. Let's make it a grid. There we go. Let's try making it a grid and see if that looks even worse. Let's see. Does it look even worse? It looks even worse. Beautiful. Row. I want row to be. Why is the row? There we go. I don't know. Don't know why it's doing that. Okay, sure. So we've got a bunch of stuff. Anyways, messing with this is not great. So what we want to do is, I want to be able to add. I'm just gonna delete this one, put it back because it's super complicated. But in here, so I have this like edit post thing that I want to be able to add, right? So in the block that I am building, source edit post block, the only thing that we have to do to make it work is to add interactivity to true there, right? And so we refresh this now. Okay, I'm gonna say, you want the 5th? Fabian, you want the 4th justify option? I would make the row wide aligned. Look at Fabian shows up and just like, Ryan, stop being stupid. Just fix this. Just make this work, right? Okay, so now if I refresh this, I come over here, I select my query loop. I should be able to now. Hello? Why didn't I want to build? Oh, sorry, because I broke something. Gotta get my start running again. npm start. Alright, so in here I should have interactivity set to true now. Yeah, sorry, my build process died on me there. That was the I think that was the problem. So if I grab my query loop, boop, and scroll down the bottom under advanced, now I can turn this off, and I'm still using my custom post, which is really cool. Like, come in here now. This link should go to post 56, post 55, post 54. I click the next one. This should be post 51. So now we've enabled a custom block inside of our template, which is our template inside a query loop. Now, I mean, this you use this with a grain of salt. Like, you have to make sure that this is actually working the way it's supposed to be working. Like, if it's going to work inside of the query loop, then great. If you like, but you can put anything inside of there. Like, you can literally put anything in here, and it may not make sense for it to be. Let's see. I don't know. Like, is this my featured image block? Oh yeah. So it's not going to work again. Like, we could put meme. Do I have my meme block in here? I can't remember. Type. No. Anyways, just keep in mind that that doesn't make a lot of sense sometimes to just jam something in here. But if you just if you have like a really cool piece that is like meant to divide content or something like that, it might be. It's a nice little trick just to so you can actually still use it. All right, what's Alpha saying? Something funny happened the other day. Something funny happened on the data work on work. When I was working with pages, I selected some of them to display manually, but the editor never showed the preview. It just kept loading. I'm not sure what was going on there. Okay, so there was an issue in Advanced Query Loop that I fixed. That oh, that's not good. Okay. Uh-oh. Is WordPress.org down? Weird. Okay. That's super strange. Okay. Okay, in Advanced Query Loop, and in one of my releases, well, first of all, which version was it? It's probably this fix. So in the latest version, I had at some point the late like 4.3. Request path gateway. All right, something's going on. Maybe 4.2. Okay, because I just released 4.3 not that long ago. There was a known issue with some the child pages thing was breaking, so that might have been part of it. But I released this last week. So was that what it was? That I selected some of them to display manually. Why is my mouse not working? The editor never showed the preview. Yeah, okay. Update it and let me know. Because there was an issue that I did some refactoring and I broke something because I'm an idiot. That's what happens. So the trait was not, there was a trait that wasn't being called correctly, but then there was also an issue of the page post type not being included in get post types. Oh, that's what it was. Yes. Okay. So there was two things going on with pages. So there was a change that was introduced with this pull request, and what I originally had was I was getting a list of all the registered post types that were public, and then and I was adding all of the query options to those particular endpoints in the REST API. So there's a pull request that came in to make this change, which makes a lot of sense. However, pages aren't set to publicly queryable, and that was the problem. So whenever I was on a page and I was working with pages, it wasn't working. So this fix that came out in 4.3 should address that issue. Yeah. So that should be it. Let me just ping some peeps. I'll drop a little What was the other error I got? It was 429, right? WordPress, not TV. Oh, might be back up though. Cool. Yeah, if you update that, absolutely let me know. Oh, is developer out? Okay. Thanks, Harrisburg. Thanks for letting me know that. I pinged somebody that might be able to help, but we'll just let them know. Let them know. Let them know. Yeah, there's stuff going on. I'm not sure what's the issue. Poor Dion. Has to deal with it. Cool. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, update that and let me know because I think that'll probably be the issue that you're running into. Cool. Now I've lost my train of thought though. Oh, you know what? Since we're here, I have started this. There's been a request for people to be able to cache AQL instances. I think I have it in place. I think I have a pretty good fix for it, but I don't know. There is what this change will do, and you're welcome to look at the code and yell at me and tell me how crappy it is. But what this change, the intent of this code change is to cache, to opt in, to be able to opt into caching queries, and it does it in kind of a roundabout way. So I'm basically adding two filters. I'm adding a post pre-query filter. So what this does is this is going to retrieve the queried posts and return them before it hits the query, and then there's the post filter, which is going to store them for me. So this effectively allows us to run the query once and cache it, and then it should get output. Then it's cached for, well, up to an hour, I guess. That's the longest it will be around. But one thing is really neat is there is actually a query vars hash that is generated as part of the query. And what's really helpful about that, originally I was thinking, well, we'd have to come up with a naming convention. We'd have to be able to allow the user to input a transient name, which is that's too low level. I hate that idea. But we need to be able to do that and flush it. But what's cool about this is generated every time the query vars are changed, right? And it's an MD5 hash. So under the hood, it's being generated. So if you go into the block editor and you start making changes, then your query hash becomes invalid, and so your transient won't be the same. So it basically handles all of the annoying part of flushing and managing caches, which is really handy. And then the other thing I'm doing is I'm actually adding this is AQL flag in there, so because it's very hard to determine where we're sitting in the when we filter these queries, because every single query runs through this. So I have a bit of a fun check. So is admin, which is almost always false, which is because this runs pretty early. Actually, I have to check something there, and then I have this set, is the AQL set, and then I'm checking for context. So context is going to be if you're in the block editor, and canvas is going to be if you're in the site editor. It's sort of a really ugly way of determining that I'm not inside the admin, because isAdmin doesn't really run properly in here because the query has not been set yet. So I think what I need to do is check for using the global isAdmin function. So maybe I should do that. And then I'm doing the same sort of check here. But this seems to work. It seems to work fairly well. But I don't know. Is that something that people would actually use? I didn't want to. Oh. Yeah, we could probably run it super late. I could probably run it super late. I would love. This is part of why I bring it up, Fabian, because I know that this looks great on paper, but people extending this thing, I want to make sure we're not gonna lose all those things, right? The only thing I would make sure is that run the caching filter as late as possible, because I know at least do custom extension top equals a manual on my own filters for some stuff. So query bar mods would also need to be factored in. Right. So, like, let me ask you this. So when the extensions that you're doing, are you building the extensions using the filters that AQL provides, or are you filtering like the same way, like the query loop, whatever the, I can't remember what the name of the I'll look here. What the name of the sort of core filter is. Where are we here? So query loop. This one, like query loop block query vars. Because I don't run that very late, but what I do is, pre-get posts. Okay. So I do provide. There is an AQL filters. There is an AQL query bars filter that you can get access to. And okay, so I would love to test this out. So maybe what I need to do, to your point, is run this super late, like run this as late as I possibly can, right? Like PHP int max, sort of late, you know, at the very, very end of the world, to see what happens. Now, the thing is, this is only going to run on the front end. And I don't, so this actually runs after, this hook should run, yeah, I should remember, higher number. Yeah. So I think that I think I will do that. I'm going to run that super late. Also, this runs after pre-get posts, I believe. I'll have to check that. And this runs after the query's been generated. So, okay, cool. So the thing that I'm doing is basically it's an opt-in. So it's an enable and disable. That's all you do. I didn't want to add it to every single one because that seems like overkill. The other thing that I didn't do was provide an option for the length of the transient. I have my reasoning there is that I feel like that's too low level. Like for the engineers in the room, they'll know what that means. But maybe it's sort of like how, yeah, maybe I can provide a drop down that will default to an hour, and it'll be like an hour a day in a week or something. I don't know, because you have to have with set transient, you have to have a timeout, because if you don't have a timeout, it's auto loaded. Okay, so there's a bit of a thing with so set transient, if there's no object cache available, it will use the options table. It will save it as an option, right? And so if it's using the options table and you don't set an expiry, what it'll do is it'll auto load that option on every single page, which is not what you want at all, because that's a lot of extra options being loaded. So that's why I was doing this. So maybe what I'll do is I'll set drop downs. I don't know. Do I need to? Is an hour enough? Probably not. Probably like a week. I don't know. But as soon as you change anything on it, it's going to go. So there's a balancing act there, I guess, between changing the, you don't want your stuff locked in. So, yeah. That's the thing that I'm working on next. And then the other cool thing about this, a side effect of this, is because now that we have this, you'll be able to determine whether or not the loop being run is an AQL loop. Which somebody asked me for that at some point. I can't remember who. I always wanted a long-lasting cache that gets invalidated when new posts or published changes are made. I feel like you could hook in. I've done that before. This is pre-Gutenberg, but so when there's on the save post hook, basically what we would do, I think, if we were trying to cache something, oh wow, can't install plugins right now. That's not good. Let's see if anything is. Weird. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that's going to be hard to, yes. So we're saying the same thing. The timing is like it bumped even something larger. Yeah, so you could totally do that. So with this particular use case, I don't know if that will work. Because the content that is in that query loop may not be the content that gets managed on the save post. You know what I'm saying? So like, let's say you had a curated list of posts that you wanted to keep cached forever, and none of those posts are in that list, then there's no point in flushing that cache. I mean, there's a lot of edge case there. Like you were saying, it's very connected to the content. So maybe what we could do is maybe the cache could be like short, medium, and long. You know what I mean? Like that's sort of what it is. And short is an hour, medium is a day, or I don't know, a day, a week, a month, or something, right? Wouldn't add to the plugin. I was just being no. It's a cool idea. You know what? One thing I've really always wanted to do with this plugin that I haven't figured out a way of doing yet is to have backfill. Because when I was at 10up, we used to do that all the time. We would have like a query that would be like, I don't know, latest post from a particular author, let's say, and but we always wanted to have 10 posts. No matter what, there's always 10 posts displayed. Sometimes the latest posts in the last month would only be 2. So what we would do is we'd grab those 2, and then you saw that for AQL, or for the query loop, I guess. I just haven't put time in it, but so anyways, so took you 3 years to figure out. All right, there you go. Well, I accept pull requests. Because that's a fun feature. So like you have 2, featured author posts, and then the rest of it gets backfilled by just whatever posts, right? So to do that, you have to have a query, and then you have to have a secondary query that excludes the posts in the primary query, and then you basically pull out however many you need to fill up the space. You should do it all the time in PHP, but I haven't really spent any time on it, but I think it'd be a very, very, very cool thing to do. But now that I've sort of got my head wrapped around this a little bit, I don't think it would be that hard to sort of figure out. Yeah, anyhow. So, oh, did I tell you guys that I finally got my playground tests working? I think I went on about this last week. I have playground tests running and working, and it's beautiful, and they are beautiful. It uses the CLI. It integrates with the the utilities package. So there were 2 things that I really wanted to use. I really wanted to use all the really fun utilities that we have, like for example, editor.setPreference and admin visit admin page. That's really, really helpful. I didn't want to have to rebuild those, so I made a fixture that sort of extends all that stuff and adds playground to it, so you can just init playground before each test loop. Excuse me. Anyways, there's some utils and stuff I wrote. Anyways, that's fine. Okay, that's not why we're here though. Why are we here? Memes are ready. Fresh. Loading the dankest memes. What? Who am I? What was I going on about here? All right, hacking the query loop block. That's right. I guess we're talking about hacking the query loop block because advanced query loop is just an extension of the query loop block. So right, something that Marco wanted to do that I don't know if I have ever done. I'm being DM'd by somebody. Fabian, are you DMing me the code right now? All I have is 3 backticks. I'm like, wait. Oh, there it is. He just DM'd me all the code. Oh my god. It's like, okay. That's a lot of code. That's amazing. All right. Well, Fabian, if you don't do a pull request, I'll give you props on the pull request when I steal all of this code shamelessly and then say, I don't even know who this Fabian guy is. I came up with this on my own. All right, cool. So what do we want to do here? Okay, I'm gonna add some pages, I think, to this because I think I can go with post type. I haven't done this in a while. Post type equals page. Will that work? Oh, too many positional arguments because I need the extra dasheroo there, right? Idiot. Nope. By the way, is this type? Nope. I am going to not look it up. I think it might be that. There we go. Okay, so let's see in here. And go back in here. And leave. How many pages I got? Lots of pages? Lots of pages. Okay, cool. The reason I'm doing this is because I think what Marco wanted to do was display different content based on what the content type is, right? Oh. Okay, well, I don't think I can install it, can I? I was gonna say you can't have multiple content types in here. Oh, or do I? Did he care? I wonder if it was Marco. You're not here, are you? Marco. Hold on, Sergio. How dare you not say hi in my stream? Okay, we're gonna build a little block here. Ah, there he is. I saw you lurking. Sorry, is it creepy for me to call people out that I see lurking in my chat? So I'm sorry. You're the best. You guys are great. All right. What am I don't think I can. I might have to do this in a different. I might have to do this differently because I don't think I can install plugins right now, can I? Let's look. We're gonna go add plugin, and I'm gonna go. What plugins are inactive? Oh, what do I need? I need Gutenberg. Okay, that's why. That's why it keeps yelling at me. Where's Gutenberg? Install. Ooh. Oh boy. Oh, that's why. That's probably why the theme was failing for me. It wasn't anything to do with anything to do with Studio. It was that there's something going on with the gateways, all that stuff. So let me see if there's anybody. Oh, it says it's installing. Yeah. Well, that's installing, so. Yeah. It is Marco Almeida. Almeida? Almeida. Almeida. He's just Marco to me. I love Marco. Great guy. Yeah, Marco was tweeting about it, and then I was harassing him on stream. Let's see if I can find it. Get that on here. You can't see all my messages. Depending on the post type. Yeah. So it was like, yeah. So this is it here. So he's talking about, okay, so inside a search query loop, how can I set a different content depending on the CPT shown? Same search results will show several CPTs as mixed. And so that's the thing. So, I see. So he's doing it in a search. Let's just find it. It doesn't really matter. So block visibility. Okay. So he said I can create a custom block and do it that way. And they said, you can't do it because of the Interactivity API. So I was teasing him with this, and he actually figured it out already because he's a smart dude right here. Solve it, just add supports interactivity. He always thinks that I have I'm smarter than I am. He always thinks I have this really cool thing, right? Different post templates per post type are the holy grail. Well, I think we can do it. It'll be all custom blocks though. That's the problem, right? It'll probably be all custom blocks. So this is what I'm going to try to do right now. I can't seem to install that. So let's get into, in my themes, my editor, do they have a search results? thing template, because I guess that's the only place that we could do it. What I would like to do is I just install AQL, and then we can have multiple post types there. Yes, and then we'll go. This is hilarious to me that all those pages are added in there. So funny. Where's my search? Where's my search? I think we're gonna need to edit this. Edit the header. And page list. I can go away. Remove page list. Search. And search here. Oh, Sriracha. Search. All right, let's see. I mean, the thing is, I think this is completely doable with there we go. So we got page 50 and we got post 50. So, oh, of course I clicked on the button, right? So what we need to do in here, not in here, get out of here. Get out of here. Be gone. Click on that. We need to go back to templates. Templates, search result templates. And here, so this is a query loop, right? Cool. So we need a post. Okay, I'm just going to scaffold the block, and I'm going to think this through, and y'all can tell me how wrong I am. It's not really. All right, in plugins, I'm going to go open go terminal. I'm just going to say npx at press create block. Oh, it's going to be what are we going to call this? Conditional content? Yes. Content. The variant is going to be dynamic, and we're going to do that. And by the way, Fabian, I'm sure you're aware, but we just merged the ability for create block templates to define variants to define their own template paths. I'm very, very, very excited about that because what that does is that means that you can have super complicated things and they all have their own files, which is very, very cool. I don't know if you guys use that much. Can I call it 10 up or is it fueled now? Fueled. No, I'm gonna call it 10 up. I'm calling it 10 up. That's what it's called. It's what it'll always be in my heart. Anyways, yeah. Okay, so let's see what this does. So this conditional content block. Okay, I built it. Now I'm gonna come in here, inside the post template. I will have to look at that. Yeah, it's pretty cool. So there's two things immediately that I'd like to do follow-up wise for that. The first one is suppress generation of block JSON, but at a template level. I'm also starting to think that like we don't need to add more flags to the tool at all. We need to just have the template control the functionality, and so that's the next big thing, because you might have a template that, for example, just generates a plugin like for a slot fill or to register a block variation that doesn't need block JSON. So that would be the first thing that I would do, is add that to the template, suppress block JSON or something, right? And just have that as true. The second thing is to be very so yes, you don't need the conditionals anymore. You can still, that would still work, but you don't need to have those conditionals any longer. Yeah, you don't need that. Yeah, so let me show you a quick. Sorry, I'm off on a tangent. Let me show you a quick example of what I'm talking about. So in my block developer cookbook, which I'm leading at WordCamp US, shameless self-promotion, what I have is a whole ton of templates that I use because we scaffold those templates out for each recipe, not with an L, right? So in my templates, so look, look at this. So now, okay, so this is your standard setup, right? I use a transformer for some things. Don't worry about that. But so I have a static template. I have a plugin template. I have an interactive template, and now I have files for each one. So what I've done is I've gone and gotten rid of all of those conditionals. They will still work. So if you're doing simple things and you just want to have the odd thing get removed, it will work. Backwards compatibility is maintained. So cool. But what this allows us to do is just put the files that we want in here. So for example, in my plugin file, I all it needs is is a JavaScript file. That's it. That's all I want it to be, right? And in my interactive, it's got a bit more. But you should have seen how nested some of this stuff was. It was like, because there's conditionals for positive, there's conditionals for negation as well. So basically I had all of my templates wrapped in like, if it's not a plugin, then do this. And then inside of that, it'd be like, if it's this style or this style or this style. So annoying. This makes it so much cleaner. The other thing that I immediately realized was that it would be very cool if it took default, if you could define, so in your main part, right, you actually define, where is that? You define at template level the block and plugin files. It would be even better is if these were the starting point, and then you could override individual files by defining their paths here. So think of it like a spread operator. You have all of the files for your plugin or for your blocks, right? And then anything inside of this replaces anything inside of that. That would be chef kiss, I think. Because I did find immediately that like there was a lot of copying and pasting boilerplate. Like for example, in the plugin part, right? This never changes. This never changes. This never changes. Right? So these three files need to be copied into everything, which is a kind of a pain. So I think those are the two things that I'm going to sort of work on next. Maybe a contributor day at WordCamp I'm not sure. Because I think those would be really, really handy. Because then what it means is you can have one template that has every possibility. You can start scaffolding themes even if you wanted. Isn't that crazy? I think it's a cool idea. Anyways, I wanted to mention that because it's a big win, I think, for people wanting to make create block do more than just create blocks. And it's a whole discussion around renaming it and turning it into something that like allows you, like Laravel's got these really cool tools where you could you just want a class, it scaffolds a class. You just want I don't know Laravel, but you know, a thing, it gives you a thing. So anyway, enough of this. Oh, what am I doing here now? Okay, so so CD, where am I? Conditional content. I see now that I can't see anything. All right. Okay, so in here I'm going to npm start, not star, npm start. All right, so we'll get that running. Cool, block manifest, which I don't agree with that being added in there because there's no benefit for a single block, but whatever. Okay, cool. So we have our conditional content. I'm going to run it back over into my template. In here, I'm going to add, I have to refresh this, I'd imagine. I just refreshed the page and then literally looked at it like I had forgotten how things, I didn't even know where I was. It's not working. You want to know why it's not working? I'll tell you why it's not working. I'll tell you why. Okay. We're going to activate that. So there's a conditional content block already? What? What is this? Oh, it's very old. Okay, cool. Naming things is hard. All right. Let's go back in here. Do you know how many times I've done that? You know how many times I've wasted like 15 minutes of my day being like, why isn't this stupid thing I just built working? And it's like, oh, because you didn't enable the plugin, idiot. There we go. So there's my conditional content. It's in the wrong spot, but that's fine. So we're going to put it in the group. I'm going to get rid of some of these things because I don't really care about this stuff. Yes! Be gone! Oh no. Not that one. Yeah. Okay, so this is my conditional content. Okay, so let's save this. Okay, and so I think what I need to know is like I need to get access to the query, right? All right, so this is Mr. Contact. Blah, blah, blah. So let's go in here. And the first thing I want to do is I think I need to. I think I have to say uses context, right? And I think there's a query context, right? Isn't there? Oh my god, man! Well, one of these days, bought this really nice keyboard and I just can't use it. So then in render.php, I should have access to context is, what is it? Block, right. And I should be able to get context. And if I just var dump it, I'll get a little var dump context. All right, let's see what this does. Oh, it's an array. So of course I have to do print r. Took me a second to remember what that is. Let's see. Still yelling at me. What am I doing wrong? Why am I being stupid? Is it not an array? Oh, it's a, thank you. Idiot. I'm an idiot. That's what it is. I'm sorry. Jeez. Getting a little rusty with my coding here. All right, so this should give me the context. Ba-boom, bang. There we go. So, all right, post type. There we go. There we go. You forget it. Okay, so we now have the ability to know where we are. So, what's something that we would want to do in this case, right? So, like, because context is going to give us the post type and the post ID. Do we just do it? I mean, like we could, like if page equals, you know, I'm just going to store the context like this. Context equals. Right, and say context is like, no, page. Oh, is it post? It is. Does anyone else struggle with the how PHP and JavaScript use the different camel case and snake case stuff, and it bugs me. I can never remember what is which. Probably if I was like writing code all day, every day, professionally, like some of the folks on this stream. I'm a page, right? I'm a page all the time. I just can never remember. Okay. So I can just basically do this. Right? So that should be all we need. I'm a post, I'm a page. So the question becomes, are we talking about managing this all inside of this particular block like this? Right? Because I can see this immediately getting far more complicated where we have some kind of inner blocks instance. The problem is we can't use inner block inside. You know what we'd have to do? Let me think this through. Okay, so here's what I'm thinking. In the template side, right? We have post template. So inside of post template, we have this conditional content block. Inside that conditional content block, what if we had a secondary block. So okay, here's what I'm thinking. We have basically like this, right? So inside our group, we have conditional content. Inside of conditional content, there would be a inner block instance, for example, right? That would be representative, and this would be content type, right? That makes sense. Let's try that. What am I doing? Let's be content type. Content type. We'll put this in here. So now we have a second block called content type, and I'm just gonna make some changes in here. I love how that every time I do anything, Raven's like, yeah, we did that like a year ago. Come on, man. I'm kidding. You guys are great. Yeah, what you're doing is basically, okay, so what is this? Spotlight method. Yeah, what you're doing is basically what we've done a bunch. It is possible. I would love to have a sync pattern for each card type, one proposed type, and then have easily to insert those so that they get correctly rendered inside the post template, but it's super cumbersome. Okay. Yeah, so I think you're right. I think it's going to be super duper cumbersome. Maybe there's some kind of like, maybe there's some kind of like mapping system. I don't know, like what would make the most sense? So we have a reusable template, which makes the most sense. Kind of like the old days of partial with a third param. Yeah, exactly. It is possible to do this completely manual or via block visibility, but it's super cumbersome. So if we had sort of like, so what if there was like conditional content just had a sidebar option that detected all of the options, like all the post types, right? And said, so for this post type, I want you to use sync pattern, this pattern. Can we retrieve sync patterns directly? I've never done that. That's interesting. Okay. That works, but it means you have to do it every time. We have to do it every time you... Oh, and yes, they're just post types and be post type. Yeah. Sync patterns is just a post type. Yeah, that's what I figured. So you just retrieve a given post type by the ID, throw its content out there and make it work. So the problem is that it works, but means you have to do it every time. Every time you set up a query loop? Is that what you're saying? So you want this to be part of the template? Like, sorry, I asked you a bunch of questions. You want this to be part of the template. Can you give me the thumbs up or thumbs down for that question? As in, like, the template that is shipped with the theme that you are building? Because sync patterns won't exist in a theme, not directly. Okay. So I mean, I'm solutioning, but it feels like if you want to have a default value for each one of those things, you could probably set that up in some kind of configuration page or something, right? This block could write options the first time, you know, and then every time this block gets inserted, it automatically creates those connections. The problem, and you know this, I'm sure, the problem that I would imagine you run into is how do we specific kind of split post that gets used throughout the site in every query loop. Yeah. So what if that's set? What if the block, right, has this configuration where basically it just handles the output, and you just have to set it up once. And you just basically, you have it saved to a site option. And so, we can kind of solve it with patterns, but if something changes with the post types, that again isn't synced. The settings page? Well, what if you didn't even do a settings page? What if you literally had it so like this block did an options check and said, returned If and if there's no option set, the first time it's run, it sets the option. Yeah. Right? And then if it's run again, so then when you insert that block, it checks for the options, it automatically sets that up, right? Every single time. Now the problem there is whoever sets it up for the first time, there's a lot of responsibility there, but also maybe there's something that like at the admin level you could, you have the option of making a change and persisting that to the options or something along those lines. Like I don't know if like a settings page needs to be for this. I don't know. I think that's kind of a cool idea. I mean, wouldn't be hard to do. The problem that you'd run into, actually, it wouldn't be a problem. It would be pretty great. Is that you couldn't, anyone below admin, I don't think could set the option anyways, right? So so editors wouldn't. I don't think editors can set site options. So what you'd be able to do is have somebody log in and set it up once and then it's set up, or even have like a install. I don't know, because you'd need. There's a kind of a cart. There's a cart before the horse, chicken and egg, whatever analogy you want to use. Problem here, because if you want to use a synced pattern, you have to have the synced patterns created before you can refer to them. So maybe as part of the setup, you could like after theme install or after I think there's an activation hook for themes somewhere. You could be like, okay, create these things, set this up, set those options, done, right? Otherwise, you'd have to Yeah, totally. So you could take those sync patterns, define them in code, bang, that now they're in the database. Now you can preset the options, and then you just have to provide the client a means of overriding that at some point, right? Oh yeah, for sure. It's hacky as all get out, but it would simplify. I don't think it's that hacky, because the solution in core is going to be similar. It'll be a block. Right? A conditional content block, let's call it, for lack of a better term. I've trademarked that now, so Gutenberg, you can't have it. Or you can. Call me. My people can call your people. Like, the setup would need to be done. Like, maybe there's, like, literally the first time it's set up, it just saves. And then you're done. Like, I don't know how core could do it any more elegantly. Because... yeah, because simple and defining code. Oh, that's the. I'm sorry. Okay, yeah. It's tacky and hacky. I love it. Well, I think we've solved a lot of problems here. So what am I going to build for the next 15 minutes then? I think we solved this problem here. Well, I haven't solved this problem, but we do have conditional search results. What would be very cool is if you had, you know what this needs though? This needs a, you don't want to define, like what we need is we want to be like, we want to be able to define this in here. That would be very cool. So you could do conditional content. Oh, another way of doing this, and this would be super hacky again, would be like, this conditional content would be for post type post. And then you put all of this, you have you have an inner blocks instance with all of its stuff. Then you have another one for whatever, and then its inner block instance handles all this stuff, and you just have to pass the query down into title. I wonder if that would work actually. Let me try something here. This is just because I like to mess around with things. So where is it? Is it in here? Is inner blocks in here? Is it in here? I can't remember. There'll be at least 1,000 things in here. Come on now. Inner blocks, like that. You know how long it's been since I've used inner blocks? It's been a long time. So I'm just gonna plunk an inner blocks right here, just for. Yeah, we should use inner block. You're right. We should use that instead. I just wanted to do a quick and dirty thing here. I actually like the inner blocks prop better because it seems more integrated into like what you're actually building, if that makes sense. So here we go, group, so conditional content. So where is in here? Can I? Uh-oh, what's going on? Oh, of course. I'm not building that particular block or those blocks. Let's see. Do I have 2 blocks in there now? Refresh this. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to take this now. I'm going to put the title inside of there. And does that just work? Does it just work? Because that's really awesome if that just works. Oh, duh. Sorry. 1 sec. Sorry. In my index, I have to also geez, it's been a long time. My index. I'm just going to return this. So I need to save, right? That returns. Is that what I do? I need that. I'm just going to do it this way. Yell that here. Go ahead. Looks sort of right. Okay, and then in here I should have a oh wait, it's a block content. I never remember the name of the variable. Was it block content or just content? Oh, come on. This is content. I'll put them both out there and we'll see what happens. Undefined block content. Okay, and string is null. Okay, so it should just be content. All right. Save it? I don't really know. Oh, yeah, okay. Let's see. There we go. Okay, cool. So then in here I should be able to should just be able to echo content. I'm just gonna echo content and don't at me about it. There we go. Okay, cool. Why is page showing there and in here? What am I doing? There shouldn't. Maybe that's in the query. So is it in here? Conditional title. Interesting. Okay, so that works. The context just comes through, which is nice. So if we wanted it to be like just for posts, for example, we could probably do that. If that's what we were. Oh, I don't know why it's spinning out because I'm doing that. So yeah. So my idea there would be So it's just gonna. It's weird that it's. What am I doing wrong? It should be inside of that. Why is it? Get out of here. It's not in the p tag. Did I not close the p tag properly for some ish? Weird. Anyway, I don't know why it's doing that. It's strange that it's doing that. That looks right. I don't know why it's not wrapped inside that p tag though. It's weird. It's outside of it for some reason. Must be there's got to be some kind of broken markup or something. P tag. Can you? Oh, it's probably because you can't. Can you not nest? Probably can't nest. It's probably just not valid markup. That'd be my guess. That's exactly what it was. Not valid markup, friends. All right, cool. So now what this does is you can take the content. Yeah, all right. So what you can do is something like this, maybe. You could have conditional content, have it select the post type. You could duplicate it. This would be for pages. This would be for posts, for example. And then in there, and then in here, you would just you'd have an attribute probably. You'd have something like expected type, maybe. Type. It's gonna be attributes. Let's say post type. Right, like this. So then if expected type is equal to context type, which is then what that should just render it. So let's come in here. Yeah, exactly. So then I can do an attribute in here and call it attributes. Call this expected type. It's going to be type is going to be oh, come on. Ah. Oh my god. Oh my god. String. And we'll just set the default just for now of we'll set a default of post. So I think that'll probably work here. And we'll need I'll need a control for it, but well, that's understandable. I don't know what's going on here. May have to put a new I'll put a new instance in just for the sake of it. Get rid of that, grab this, go insert after, and not that, definitely not that. There we go, and then in here, I guess I'll put the title block. Here, save this. I don't know if this is going to work right now, but we'll see. Huh. Oh, wait, what's this? Undivided key post type. Oh. Hold on. What did I do? Hey. Undivided key post type. What do they call that stupid thing? Attribute is expected type. I'm an idiot. I'm an idiot, friends. Expected type is going to be whatever that is. All right, let's try this. There we go. So that'll work. So then if we have a post in here, which we should have a post or page in here as well, I guess, right? We'd need to set that over here. So we could just do that real quick. Yeah, I can do that real quick. Why am I in a hurry? Am I in a hurry? No, I'm not in a hurry. Let's see. Nope. We're gonna go select control. Rather than trying to grab a whole select control, I'm just going to put it up there. Inspector controls, I need that. Where's inspector controls? Inspector controls from block editor. So I'm going to put a little inspector controls in here, and then I need to import the select control from this component. gonna grab one, give it some options. This is just so I can, because I'm lazy. I'm lazy. Who's lazy? This guy. This guy's lazy. So in there, we're gonna do that. And why is it formatting the way I want it to format? Oh, that's fine. It didn't. I didn't set up my previous config. And that's better. So this is going to be content type, and it's going to be we'll go post. We'll say page and whatever. We'll just say those two for now. This would be better done. Like you should retrieve these things as from the data store, right? But this is kind of how I'll do it right now. And then so set attributes is going to be not that. Set attributes is going to be expected type, content type. What content type? Content data. Additional content. I'm going to call it content type. That's what I'm going to call it. That'd be better. Way better. And I know I'm going to have to update all this, but I don't care. And then I got to get attributes out of here. And I got to get attributes out of here. Right. And then I can say const content type equals attributes. The value is going to be that. Nope. What? There we go. Oh my, there we go. So this should give me at least that. I'm going to set this to a div because that's what I want to set it to. And okay. So let's see what happens here. Content type. Okay, cool. So then I can ooh. Okay, so take this one. All right, let's set this one to post. Cool. Let's hide that. We're going to duplicate this. I'm going to set this one to page. Post and page. Save. And page, I'm going to get rid of this. I'm going to put, what should I put in there? What should I put in there? We're going to put, I'll put content. I'll put content. I'm going to put content. Oh, there isn't any content. Let's find post 50. What's in here? Post 50. Okay, so I got to go find post and page 50. Ugh. Pages, all pages. Page, last page. 50. And I grab this. I'm just going to put it. Save that. Okay, so let's see. Search results. So, nope. What do I call that stupid thing again? Block. It's going to be content type. I'm going to go to render. We're going to pull content type out of there. Why? Oh, yeah, I didn't save it. Maybe that's the problem. Okay, let's that. There we go. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So that's one way of doing it. But what might be better, to Fabian's point, is that when you've got this selected, instead of it being the content type and then you have to curate all this stuff manually, maybe, I guess you could, I mean, you can insert patterns here, right? And so you can, if we had a sync pattern, you could insert that. I don't want that at all. It needs to go away. So that's, yeah, that might be the way to do it. It's a lot of setup, which you don't really want. But let's say that I wanted to, I don't know, whatever. I wanted to take the title here. see the title and excerpt. So if I create a pattern, and I make it a sync pattern, this is going to be title / excerpt. Right. Synced. And we'll call this Twitch. Sure. Why does it keep doing that? It needs to stop doing that. Oh, I know why. Because you can click on over there. So we add that, save it. So now. Oh, so you think all of these blocks, like, oh, I see. So like I grab this whole thing, right? And I make this, and we can call this master content thing, right? And put some Twitch. Sync add. Now I should be able to say grab another query loop. Right. Start choose. Oh, okay, I can't do it like that. Well, that's annoying. So in my so start blank, sure, okay. Oh, I already had it there. So then here, I want to delete this stuff. And then I'm going to go in here. I'm going to go to my patterns. I should have a Twitch thing. I should have my master content thing. And it should go into the post template. Oh, yeah. Add some contextual patterns. Yeah, for sure. I mean, this, it's a bunch of work, but it will work. It will definitely work the way you want it to, right? This is interesting. You can't do contextual patterns now, can you? Or can you do? I don't think you can do contextual patterns. It's not like the way that you could have like this pattern. Oh no, you can. Can you? I don't know. Manage patterns. Where does that take me? So let's go to my patterns. My patterns. I go into here. So that's what you would do then. Yeah. In your so I edit this. Oh, does it? Yeah. Okay. So yeah, that's the part that things start to fall apart. That's where it starts to fall apart because you have to know the ID. You can't hard code something that you don't know the ID of. So it might, yeah. Awesome. Okay. Well, this has been great. This has been a lot of fun. I'm going to drop off now, but cool. So it is possible with a little bit of effort to be able to create your create conditional content. Sorry, conditional content for the query loop block. It's definitely something that we can do. But as Fabian pointed out, it's sort of difficult because there's a lot of setup and you don't want to do it all manually and stuff. So there's layers to it. I would say probably the first thing that we should get in core is some kind of like kind of what I just built, something maybe better, but well, probably better. No, you're not at all. That's the whole reason we're here is to like hack the query loop and get this all working. So that's the whole point of the stream. You are not hijacking everything. Yeah, I'm sure Fabian's he's already DM'd me the code, I'm sure. But I think first step is like, let's get a block where you can say this only appears if it's a specific post type. That might be cool, right? And then because there is some work for that. There's some block visibility API stuff that's starting to get worked on. I saw something in GitHub today. Sorry, that's not what I want. That's what I want. I think Aki was working on it. Excuse me. I happened to see a pull request for it. So this block visibility support and control in UI. So there's some work being done towards that. I know it'd be very cool to get some of that block visibility stuff that Nick Diego put together into core. But it would be very cool. Yeah, the thing, I think what we want to do though. Oh, Aki's here. You're here. Hey man, how are you? You never show up to my streams. I'm so glad you're here. Yeah, we were saying how you solved all of the block visibility problems. Saved them all. Just to wrap. Yeah, well, I'm just about to wrap it up. Fortunately, but I can stay on a little bit. Is there anything that you want to sort of mention about this this pull request of yours? Because I think it's awesome. I think we're gonna get with this is some stuff that we need for sure. Yeah, definitely. Oh, sorry, I didn't ping. Yeah, this is very cool stuff. So keep an eye on this, but I think the other thing. So anyway, yeah. So having a block that would allow us to like conditionally show something, which is basically block visibility. But I think the other thing is we want to make sure that it's not being rendered. It's not being rendered at all, right? It's being. It's not just being hidden with CSS because we don't want that. Like we literally would want to have it. Actually, now that I think about this, this should be wrapping the entirety of this. And we shouldn't be rendering empty content. It should just be doing this. That's what we want, right? Because we want it to render nothing if it shouldn't render anything, right? So if we look at that again on my search results, there we go. So it shouldn't render anything at all. I have more than one of these things here. But that would be the optimal state because you don't want to just hide the content because screen readers and whatnot, right? But I'm sure we've all thought of this. This is not new. But yeah, cool. This is great. Hey Fabian, are you going to Work Camp US this year? Will I see you there? I'm gonna see Alpus. I know that. But if anyone else is hanging out, love to catch up with y'all. So, anyways. Alright, well, Aki, I'm sorry, but I am just about to drop off. But thank you so much for joining. I know it's probably very, very late for you. Like midnight? I don't even know what time it is where you are. Yeah, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Thank you all for hanging out with me today. Fabian for basically just giving me all the code to make my stream run smoothly. And this will be up on YouTube. I'm streaming on YouTube now, but it'll be up there. And then just so you can refer to this stuff later if you want. Mark, it's 1 a.m. Yeah, of course, because I mean you never sleep. Terrence is here. What? Ready to get in the stream. Well,
oh, great.
We're
it's
wrapping
Grayson.
it up, buddy. We're wrapping it up. Hey, did I tell the story of meeting Terrence's father? Literally, no, I can't. I've been streaming for 2 hours now, or an hour and a half, whatever it is. It's my time. I gotta go. I gotta eat lunch. I gotta do a workout. Well, some of us were. Terrence's father is a magician, and he, in true magician style, we were at, I can't remember, but it might have been the Elementor after party, and it was great. It was great. It was like this really cool like pub. There was karaoke going on, and I was walking past the table, and I saw Terrence sitting with some guys. So of course I came right over and elbowed my way in. And his dad pulls out a pack of cards, like as one does, right? And he proceeds to like write on it and do this amazing trick. It blew my mind. It was very cool. And I didn't believe him for the first half an hour that they were father and son. I still don't really believe it, but whatever. I'll let it go. It was great. It was a great time. A great time. I showed him a card trick that I knew, and I'm sure he looked at me like, it's like doing math with Einstein, I'm sure he was like, oh, good, yeah, that's a really cute trick, Ryan. So, but anyways, it was a good time. It was good to see you in person again and hang out and meet your dad and have a good time. Yeah, it was great. It was great. All right, I got to get out of here, but thanks so much for hanging out with me today. Will you been in Krakow? That is both past and future tense. So I don't know yet. I'm hoping to go to Krakow. I would love to go. I'm not sure. It's too early for me to know right now. If I get accepted to speak, I'll go for sure. Otherwise, I'm not sure. Will I be? I know. I'm just giving you a hard time. I would love to go. I'm also really hoping to go to India as well. Tell Matt I want to be there. Well, you know, Matt listens to everything I say, right? So, because, you know, I would love to go. There's a good chance I'll go if I want to. So I'm pretty excited about that. But India for sure. Well, not for sure. For sure I want to go. I'm going to try very hard to go. I would love to go to India. I would love. There's such an amazing community there, and it's a massive, amazing community. Every time I meet anybody from the Indian WordPress community, they're always amazing folks. So I'm hoping to go to both, but we'll see. I don't know. It's a lot of travel. But anyways, thanks everyone. I'll talk to you all soon. Next week I am not streaming. Portugal. Well, if I get invited to Portugal, maybe I'd love to go again. I had such a good time. No, I will be streaming next week, and then I won't be streaming the week after because I'll be at WordCamp US. But I'm working very hard to try to get a special WordCamp US live stream going from WordCamp US. They have a creators area, and I've got a couple of people that are going to join me, I hope. And so we're going to see. I don't want to promote it too much because, I mean, it's portable, it's on-site streaming, and I don't know what the tech or internet setup's going to be like there. So I hope it works out. But at the worst case scenario, I'll have a video that I can upload to YouTube afterwards. But hopefully we can have a stream. It'll be 9. It's set for 9 a.m. local time there, so it'll be like 12 o'clock Eastern. So I'm calling it the time. So the time zones are hard stream because I thought I was booking it for noon. But it happened to be in my time zone, not their time zone. But anyway, so that's a bit of a sneak peek. I'm hoping to have a couple of other streamers, some folks from the organizing team. I don't know. We'll see who shows up. We never know. Maybe Terrence will be there and his dad. Who knows? But Sergio, if I can come back to Portugal again, I 100% will. I love Portugal. Okay. On that note. Bye. I'm trying to get done with streaming. I don't want to believe. Don't know if I'm allowed in the U.S. Yeah, I don't know if I'm allowed in the U.S., but we'll find out in a week or two. If Air Canada doesn't stay on strike. Air Canada. But, all right, cool. Bye. Talk to you soon. Y'all are best. Y'all are best. Yeah. Okay. Bye.